I'm going to take my prerogative to move the calendar around a little bit. We have, so department heads are going to come up after me. This is consideration to contribute to the Nakamo Reward Fund, and this is, if you remember, about 5-6 months ago, a young man was killed in Oakland, 2 blocks from Emeryville on his way home.
Yeah.
And it was his eve before his birthday, if I remember correctly. The city of Oakland needs our help, and I feel like we need our help to go out and find the man that did this deed. And so what my understanding is that the family is trying to get the reward up to $100,000. And at that amount of money, you have, I hate to use this term, rats eating rats. People will turn in their friends. And I think this person really needs to be caught. I think it's something that we need to do. I think we have to lend support to our brothers in Oakland. I think they need help. When you start understanding how few officers they have assigned to these homicides, you realize that the odds of catching this man are very few in between. So what I'd like to do is, and we don't have a means of giving out these rewards in the city of Emeryville, so we will be working in, if we approve this, in conjunction with the city of Oakland. And so what I'd like to do is I'd like to propose that we allocate $10,000 for the conviction of this man, and what we would do is we will have staff, if you approve, come back with a plan, and the plan would say basically that this reward money would be there for maybe for 5 years and based upon conviction. So it's really important that we get this amount of money up to that $100,000 level. And I see his family is in the background. Or if you would like to come up and say anything, Maria, or you don't need to, but you're more than honored to come up here. And also in conjunction with that, we are also looking into sending a letter off to the governor's office, because the governor has a reward fund too, so the staff will be looking in that resolution. And good evening.
Good evening. Sorry, I had to write this down. I might fumble my words. I'd like to thank the good mayor, first and foremost, Mayor Brinkman. From day one, you've been nothing but accommodating and responsive, and understanding of my plight. Your compassion is boundless, your leadership exceptional, which is more than I can ever hope for or expect from any elected official. I'd also like to thank the council members for your compassion and the initiative in moving my son's case forward. This reward money will help bring us closer to a resolution that is the apprehension of the soulless criminals that harmed my son less than a mile away from home, an hour away from what would have been his 23rd birthday. This would be, of course, their apprehension would be in the interest of justice, so that no young man with a bright future will be senselessly taken from his family, and no family shall have to suffer unspeakable sorrow needlessly. So thank you again for giving me this opportunity to speak, and I thank you for your compassion and your kindness.
And thank you for your strength.
Thank you.
So anyway, that's my motion. I'd like to have good consideration from the council here to go ahead with that $10,000 reward. It'd come back in their next meeting in some sort of fashion if I get the approval tonight. But things like this we just can't tolerate, and it's just, we need to find this person. So I'd like to, yes.
Yeah, I just want to say I support the efforts. I'm not clear. You've laid out a little bit of a rationale for how this money would help to solve and apprehend and also convict someone, and I feel like I don't know enough about how these rewards work to understand the direct connection.
I'm not an expert either, but I do know that there's a certain amount when it gets to that level, that my understanding that there's 2 people in the car, and people tend to talk. And so when you hear a story and there's a $10,000 at the end of the story, there's a certain amount that people will just confess or work with the police department out of pure greed. and we're trying to get to that.
Trying to appeal to
We're
that.
trying to get to that greed level. Right now, I believe it's $30,000-$40,000, is that?
Yes, right now, family and
You have to speak into the microphone. We're broadcasting.
Family and friends have been able to raise about $40,000, and add to that the $10,000 that Crime Stoppers of Oakland will be donating. However, we have not generated any leads even with that amount. And as you know, money is a powerful incentive for people to come forward and talk. And if I may make an example of the Sandra Koch case, whereby $100,000 was initially offered, and in just a matter of days, they have a person of interest in custody. So that is my sincerest hope. You know, like Mayor Brinkman has already mentioned, there were 2 people in the car, and we are hoping that one of them will I don't know the appropriate word, but Oakland, as you know, is notorious for a no snitch culture, and therefore a substantial reward money, which the OPD believes will sort of move the case along and hopefully apprehend the criminals who did this to my son.
So,
Thank you.
Mayor Brinkman, was a terrible, terrible tragedy, and I certainly appreciate your compassion and your wish to do something here. But I can't support this at the present time, because I think it has, we live in a very violent and a very criminal society, and we should have some understanding, I think as Jennifer referred to it, of what is the process that we do this. So I would need more information before I could move ahead.
I guess that's kind of what we were looking for too, Nora, because we don't, as I said, we don't have Crime Stoppers. So I just wanted to see if we can go to the next step. We don't have, I'd like to see what that next step is to fund this. So I'd be willing to have maybe a presentation by Crime Stoppers to come back.
Yeah, let's do it. If we're going to do it, we want to do it right, with substantive information and an understanding of what the implications are, seeing that we live in a very violent society, and this is not, as tragic and as terrible as it is not a standalone.
No, well,
So,
trust me, my house is
Gang-related?
broken into twice in 1 month.
Right, right.
So I do know about crime.
And I've been mugged, so I know about
So
that.
we all know about mug, but I guess this, to me, this is a little bit different. This is, it's just the nature of the beast. It was just, there was no forethought. There was just a murderous event, and it's to me, it's a
Do
different
you
level.
think it would be of any help to have it discussed in the public safety meeting on Thursday morning?
I think that'd be fine.
Jeannie, what do you say? Are you familiar with Crime Stoppers?
We have some information on Crime Stoppers.
Yeah. We'll,
Yeah, and I'd like to add that, you know, I think I'm very proud of our police department. I don't know what kind of support or in-kind help we could offer, if that would maybe not be as sufficient or motivating as the money reward, as you're saying.
I talked to Ken about that at one time, and it's very difficult for us to do that type of interdepartment when it comes to a case like this.
Okay.
You know, this is a murder case.
Yeah.
You know, they're just very timely, very expensive trying to solve, and so I would just like to see this one.
and when staff brings this back, can they address the issue of a gift of public funds? I don't think this falls under that, but we should have a clarification on it.
Sure, if I may, the idea here would be that it would be going to Crime Stoppers, which is part of the Oakland Police Foundation, I believe. And not to this. I believe the family has a separate fund that's set up, so this would be going to Crime Stoppers. So we can bring back information about how Crime Stoppers works. I've been directly in contact with the captain over at OPD, who's been handling the case. This is the way that he recommended that we would set something like this up. We can have him or someone, some representative from
That would be
OPD or
That would
Crime
be
Stoppers
helpful.
come and address this, but he was extremely encouraging us to do this as something that he thinks would actually, possibly put the reward amount over whatever that threshold is to encourage someone to come forward. So I'll get in contact with him and get more information.
Great.
Thank
I
you-
think that
thank you very much.
information is really important and would like to see this come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And-
it will be coming back, and thank the family for coming out tonight.
Do you think in the December meeting, or is that too soon or the first of the December meetings?
I'll talk to him. I think it should be something we can bring back pretty quickly.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you. Thank you for coming this evening.
Okay.